The Blohm Voss BV-141 was one of the most unconventional military aircraft ever designed and flown during the Second World War, created to fulfill the Luftwaffe's requirement for a short-range tactical reconnaissance, observation, and light ground attack aircraft with exceptional all-around visibility. Development began in the late 1930s under the direction of chief designer Richard Vogt, who deliberately abandoned traditional symmetry in aircraft layout in order to solve the visibility limitations of conventional fuselages. The resulting design placed the engine, main fuselage boom, and tail structure on the left side of the aircraft, while a fully glazed crew gondola was mounted on the right, housing the pilot, observer, and rear gunner together in a spacious cockpit with an unobstructed field of view. This asymmetrical configuration allowed the observer to look almost straight down and sideways without interference from wings, engine, or propeller, making the aircraft particularly well suited for battlefield reconnaissance, artillery spotting, photographic intelligence gathering, and Army cooperation missions. Although the layout appeared aerodynamically problematic at first glance, careful balancing of lift, wing geometry, and control surfaces resulted in an aircraft that proved stable, predictable, and pleasant to fly, with no serious handling penalties caused by the asymmetry. The first BV-141 prototypes flew successfully and demonstrated good performance, but early versions were limited by engine power. To address this, Blohm Voss developed the improved BV-141B series, powered by the BMW 801 radial engine, the same power plant later used on the Focke-Wulf FW-190 fighter. With this engine, the BV-141 achieved a maximum speed of roughly 430 to 440 kilometers per hour, a respectable cruising speed, a range of close to 1,900 kilometers depending on load, and a service ceiling approaching 10,000 meters. The aircraft featured a wingspan of about 17.5 meters, a length of nearly 14 meters, and a loaded weight of around 5.7 tons. Armament was modest, but adequate for its role, typically including forward-firing machine guns for strafing and flexible defensive weapons for the rear gunner, along with the ability to carry small bomb loads or flares on underwing racks. Later versions introduced refinements, such as an asymmetrical tailplane, to further improve defensive firing arcs and stability. Operationally, the BV-141 was intended for missions such as low and medium-altitude reconnaissance, photographic surveys, battlefield coordination, convoy spotting, and limited ground attack, where visibility and situational awareness were more important than heavy armament or high speed. In these roles, it performed well during trials and limited service evaluations, and pilots generally reported good control characteristics and excellent observational capability. However, despite its technical success, the aircraft faced strong competition from more conventional designs, most notably the Focke-Wulf FW-189, a twin-engine reconnaissance aircraft that offered redundancy, easier production, and a layout that the Luftwaffe considered less risky. Additionally, production priorities during the war heavily favored fighters and bombers, and the BMW 801 engines required for the BV-141 were urgently needed for the FW-190 program, which further undermined its chances. As a result, only a small number of BV-141 aircraft were built, and the project was eventually abandoned despite its innovative nature. Today, the Blohm Voss BV-141 is remembered not as a failure, but as a remarkable example of creative engineering driven by operational requirements rather than convention. It demonstrated that asymmetry in aircraft design could be practical, efficient, and aerodynamically sound when executed with precision, and it remains a unique milestone in aviation history, illustrating how far designers were willing to push boundaries during pursuit of tactical advantage during wartime.